SRS, help, SRS. Hey there, guys. Joe Simons, like diamonds, Salt Drunk here. You're wondering, Joe, have you lost your mind? It's SOS. No, it's not. It's SRS, and I truly do need your help, and it's going to take less than 60 seconds. Here's the deal. We've been approached multiple times by these advertisers who want to advertise on our podcast. We've said no to all of them because here's what they want to do. They told us on a 30 to 40-minute show, they want to put 9 advertisements. That means like every few minutes it is going to abruptly stop, and you're going to have to sit through a dumb advertisement. We do not want you to put you through that. It's a bad user experience. We are here to impact as many people as possible. So instead of us taking advertising money, all we ask in return is you do this one thing. It's going to take 60 seconds. It's the SRS. It's subscribe. That takes literally 1 second. If you're on iTunes, pause it right now. You can hit subscribe. If on Stitcher, same thing. So subscribe is number 1. R is review. Just take a few seconds and review this podcast. That's the number 1 way that Apple shares and recommends this to as many people as possible. It helps us make a massive impact and make sure that we never have to put ads on here. And the other one is to share it with anyone you think might love this message. So SRS, subscribe, review, and share. It would mean the world to us, and it helps get this message out there and this podcast out to as many people as possible and keeps it completely ad-free. So here is the message in the podcast for today. Hope you enjoy it. And if you can, please, 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 SRS, help, subscribe, review, and share. Thank you guys. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way.
And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing.
Here's your host, Joe Simons, like diamonds.
All right, fish on. Little trout here on the Slam Shady 2.0. Luke's got, what, a Slam Shady Bomber?
Got the Bomber.
Get down here and get a nice safe release. It's a little guy here, but hey, we'll take what we can get here. We already caught a couple here this morning. A couple trout, that is, and we're trying to find some reds. Started off hitting these docks, but crazy high tide, a little too windy, and so we came to find a little wind protection. Don't even know what we're going to title this podcast yet. We're just kind of figuring it out. Luke's hitting the mangroves, and I'm kind of touching the outside here to at least just find some trout, maybe find a stray red. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, we have basically a summertime morning. It's in between the moons, so we have a pretty high tide. Oh, I just had something. And so now's the time where we're in the bay boat, and now's the time where we can actually push up and start fishing mangroves.
Yep.
This area got hammered by red tide last summer, and it's finally starting to come back. For a while, there was just nothing, and it's not back to where it was, but it's at least holding some fish where we can come out here and have some high odds of success. So we're just on the board with some little dink trout so far, and now
Call those confidence builders.
Now looking for some drag pullers.
Confidence builders.
And so right up here we have this nice little creek.
Ooh, that looks awesome. Mullet jumping?
Yeah. So
dude, you know there's some fish back there. How far does that thing go?
There's a little pool back there, a little pond.
Go Gadget kayak. I wouldn't mind going back in there. Look at that skip.
This is a high probability snook and redfish spot here.
I'm gonna go over here and hit this mangrove point. Some oysters back here. Ooh, baby. Birds.
And so in general, when you're fishing islands like this, there's a big grass flat all around it, and a lot of small trout will be on the outside. Let's see if I can get one out of there. The small fish will be on the outside, and then the redfish, snook. Oh, there we are. Oh, false alarm. Redfish and snook they'll be up here tight at the trees.
You could have pulled that off in the podcast until the people saw the actual video. Like, yeah, Luke was on a tree.
It felt great. That wood felt really good for about a second.
That looks so good back here. You guys are watching. This is it's just like a little mangrove tunnel. Luke is gonna see how far he can skip back there.
One awesome thing.
Mullet.
Yeah, one awesome thing about the Bomber is this thing skips. It's one of the better skipping lures.
Concur.
And so I'm like getting like 30 feet back in that little cut.
All right, I'm
And
gonna
how
go
I
back
have
here
it
in the
rigged,
middle. And
I have this rigged on the Haas Helix hook. This is a 3/0 hook. A lot of times I go 4/0, it's a wider gap, but this 3/0, it's just a smaller profile. It skips better, and it's a little bit more weedless. So when I'm fishing tight to structure like this, I go the 3/0 instead of the 4/0. Most people do 4/0s. I used to do it, and then I realized that the hookup ratio is still actually really good, and it's noticeably better at not getting snagged. So it's worth maybe a missed fish or two. But if it's a big fish that comes and grabs it, you're going to hook it. You just might miss some of the smaller ones.
you know, we've had some requests to get Otis back on the boat in some of these podcasts. What do you think?
It's just a good way to damage some camera gear. He's a liability, but yeah, I'm down.
I feel like he's getting a little bit better.
Yeah, he's way better than before. Now he'll actually like lay down for a little while, whereas earlier he would not sit down.
Old age. How old is he?
He's almost 7, 6.5.
Huge difference compared to 2-year-old Otis.
But when a fish is on, it's just like he's 2 again. It's game on and watch out.
Did I tell you about Shauna, my daughter, babysitting the dogs next door, or dog sitting?
Yeah, I heard about her dog sitting. What happened?
So it was like a full week of dog sitting, and you know, it's tough on a 11-year-old girl. She's got stuff going on, school, camp, and one day, and I'm kind of helping her out, and I had to work, and you know, she went to some camp for the whole day, and so it's about 6 hours, which is you know, still fine for an adult dog to leave it inside for 6 hours, but that was the longest stretch we ever did.
Like in your house?
No, thank goodness, not in our house. Is our next door neighbor, so it stays in their house, comfort zone. But we go in there and let the dogs out, and these are both male dogs. He comes out immediately and he starts to go to the bathroom, but he couldn't like lift his back leg up like normal, and he's peeing. So imagine the dog peeing on his left front leg. I'm talking spraying the heck out of it. So the dog is literally peeing all over his leg and just like in this stance.
Probably had to go so bad.
No. And so I was like, his name's Marlon. I was like, Marlon, what are you doing? Like, Marlon. And he didn't have a care in the world. What do you got there?
You got something on?
Little trout. I'm going to go right behind you there. Oh, no.
Oh, we got this bird. Oh, that's a seagull. I thought it was
Oh, I almost hit that seagull.
I thought it was an osprey at first.
Almost hit that seagull. Whoa.
Oh, ladyfish.
Oh, there's a school of ladies or something. I'm getting drilled.
That'll do it.
All right, so back to the story at hand. He's sitting there peeing all over himself. And I asked Sean, I was like, all right, let's go in and make sure they didn't destroy anything. And she's like, Dad, you got to see this. So I get in there and there's stuff everywhere. Like one of them literally ate a remote control, like a TV remote control.
What?
Completely ate it. Like I'm talking half of it is missing. This is a legit remote control for that bird.
That's actually impressive.
But it gets worse. So there is a beer can on the ground, and it's got teeth marks in it. Ooh, that was a big hit there. That was probably a ladyfish there. A little trout. I'm on. Nope, lady. And but there's no beer to be found, and the can is completely empty. So what happened is the dog bit into the beer can, drank the entire thing, and it was drunk as a skunk, which is why I couldn't lift his leg up. And he was just sitting there just relieving himself. Oh, yeah. So I waited till the owners got back to tell them about that one. It's tough to put that in a text message, you know?
Dog got drunk and peed all over his leg.
Yeah, ha, 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 smiley face, LOL. I did tell them, and they were amused.
No, ate a remote. That's actually,
isn't that crazy?
That's impressive.
Yeah. And then the other one, it ate, I guess he had some 9mm bullets like under the bed, and dog got into that, and there's 2 bullets missing.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so kind of reminiscent of Otis.
Those dogs make Otis look great.
Yeah, they're good hunting dogs, and they get wound up. They get cabin fever.
Otis just eats fishing lures and paper. He doesn't mess with hard stuff.
The hard stuff. That was so funny. Oh, man, that bird.
Yeah, this is a high probability spot. We're going through a little funnel point, and we have some good structure on both sides, mangroves, trees going into the water. We have seagrass on the bottom, mullet jumping around. This is a definitely high probability spot. No like strikes.
Oh, look at the fish right there. See him?
What is it?
It's going to the left.
I don't see him.
It wasn't big, but
this water's pretty clear, so we're gonna have probably some shots at sight fishing here in a little bit once the sun gets up
definitely
higher.
getting some ladyfish bites. There's ladyfish usually hang out where there's some bait. So, yes, that was our story, the dog, and now we were getting one step closer to getting a dog, and after that, my wife's like, "Yeah, let's not get a dog."
Yeah, the eating remotes is pretty crazy.
Man, these birds.
Yeah, there must be a lot of live baiters that come through here. These birds that seem like they're trained to follow boats and look for free meals.
They're chasing down the Slam Shady.
Basically every cast, they're going down and getting after it.
That's the beauty of fishing on a Tuesday, is it's not as busy. You don't have as many live baiters out here. That is one thing I do love about being able to fish during the week.
Yeah.
Because you go on the weekends sometimes, especially if the weather's nice, it is just a madhouse. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh,
Ladyfish are all
ladyfish
over
again.
the place.
Aggressive little suckers. Little oyster bar right there. Oyster bed. So oyster bar or oyster bed?
Oyster reef, there's all sorts of names for it.
So their Smart Fishing Spots calls it oyster bed. We always called it oyster bar. So Joe Schaefer had a good report in Placida, and his title was "The Bar is Open." Got some nice reds on a oyster bar. Oh, that looks so good. Water's clear. And what's going on with this grass in Mosquito Lagoon, dude?
Coming back.
Geez, if you guys saw Tony's report, I heard about it, and then it's one thing to actually see it, and like, son, it's pretty awesome news.
Yeah, I've got the skiff in the shop now, but as soon as it's ready, I'm gonna take a trip over that way.
Pray us humans don't screw it up again. Yeah.
I've still never even been to Mosquito Lagoon.
What do you mean?
Never fished the lagoon. I've always fished the Indian River when I go over that way. When I used to live over there.
You lived there and you never fished it?
But the Indian River was so good. Like, why go anywhere else?
Huh?
It was crazy good.
What separates the two?
Haulover Canal.
Just the canal's it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, lagoon is just basically north of the river, and it's connected by a big man-made canal. That's where a lot of people go out and catch giant redfish.
Yeah. It's kind of a hit or miss place.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this little cove here
Hit there.
has a lot of good kind of patchy bottom where there's a lot of seagrass and then potholes scattered around. So right now we're just have these paddle tails. These basically just really good search baits. And we're just covering ground, hoping to go over as many of those potholes as possible. And there's definitely going to be some with the fish in it.
Yep.
Just do we go over the right one? Because it's too murky to actually see even the potholes right now. For whatever reason, this is a little murky section.
Yeah, I got a little wind here today. So this is the first year that we missed the lobster season, both mini and the first week. Just happened not too long ago. And I'm kind of glad we did. All our friends that went said it was tough, blowing like crazy.
Oh, the Bentley's crushed it.
Well, yeah, but they've never not crushed it.
It's true.
But the average person said it was pretty tough wind-wise. Watch out, birds. If you guys went, let us know how it was. I'm about to go down to the Bahamas and do a little lobstering, a little osprey there, and some fishing. Take the power prawn. There's a kayaker there on that
I was
oyster
just
bar.
about to go down that bank and I saw that kayaker there. That's probably the money spot right there.
We got another little mangrove point up here, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really not looking very fishy over here. I'm not seeing much life.
No, it looked great in the opening.
Like we might need to get back up into that wind.
Oh,
Kind of move fast here and see if we can find a little pocket of fish.
yeah, I'm gonna go out a little deeper here and at least try to pluck off a trout or two. I'm not seeing any mullet. Oh, nothing. This is what happens sometimes. Struggle bus is what we call it. Exploration day. An adventure day. Take pictures of sunsets and sunrises. We've all been there. But a lot of times you gotta push through and make it happen. We've also had some epic days that started off horrible. And if you see something not working, don't keep doing the same thing. And some people ask too about how often do you move? What is your answer, Luke?
Often. I mean, if in a spot like this where there's not birds diving, there's not mullet jumping, it's usually like 5 or 10 minutes and I'm gone.
Especially if you have two anglers and you're throwing lures, someone's going to get a strike in 5 to 10 minutes for sure. And if not, then there's probably not
spot.
fish there. What's that, Luke?
If it's a good spot, right? It's like if there's a good spot, you're going to be getting at least some action, at least seeing some sort of life. Like I'm not seeing it, and the water's kind of all murky here. For whatever reason, it was much more clear on the outside.
Oh, there we go.
There we are.
Oh,
Nice.
Still on.
It's
coming at me.
Buddies. That's another,
Coming at me.
that's another ladyfish.
Oh, I thought it was a trout. What the
That
heck?
might be. Oh, another ladyfish.
Acrobatic lady.
Weird that ladyfish all the way up here.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is like the one time the ladyfish won't sling off. When we actually want them for like cut bait, of course they sling off every single time you get one on. Little acrobatic guys. Here you go, buddy. Oh yeah, I hooked him real well. There's no coming off that. There you go. Or maybe we could have saved him for a little cut bait. You put those in little chunks and or just kind of butterfly them up. Pretty good bait. Redfish, tarpon, fish are picky. So I got Slam Shitty 2.0, Little Dr. Juice. Luke's got the Bama, Little Dr. Juice. Juice is loose. And Power Prawn would be the other one. Junior.
Yeah, this water's a little bit too murky for the power prawns.
Why do you say that?
It's just murky water, better to have some vibration, like with the paddle tail. A little tail kind of kicking in the water helps draw some interest to it. The power prawns one is clear water, at least moderate clear. That's my favorite by far now.
Power Prawn's crushing it on the beach
Yeah.
in clear water. All right, we got to catch a red here, dude. Probably some snook up here on that little point.
Yeah, this is a nice little cove. A lot of times, the predator fish will use coves like this to kind of push up a bunch of fish into a bunch of little bait fish up into the kind of corn room. And so I thought we'll go push up in here real quick before we leave.
I caught some weeds.
Be a lot better if there was some mold around. So one tip too, when casting on mangroves, you're always going to be getting on the mangroves. Like if you don't, you're not casting close enough. And the key on not getting snagged is to not jerk, not do like a big hook set. So I'm on the slim, and I just basically tapped it
We're
through.
both in there.
So basically tap it through as long, if you're rigged weedless.
Oh, look at that.
If you're rigged weedless, not only will you not get snagged, but when you tap it and it falls, it'll fall straight down. So it'll result in a perfect cast. Whereas if you do the Bill Dance hook set, you're either going to snag yourself or you're going to set the hook into the tree, or worst case, I guess best case, you get out, but now you're like 10 feet away from the trees.
And you usually have a branch on you.
Yeah. So I just did it again. Okay, yeah. So I was just on the limb, so I tapped it off, and now I'm like directly. It's like a perfect cast. That should have been a redfish right there.
Ooh.
So with the fact that we have this high tide, the fish are most likely going to be pushed up right under the trees. So having cast right up on these limbs is crucial.
And this is where it's important to be able to skip when you have an opening. Best way to practice is to do it at home. Oh.
Ah.
All right. Look at that. Look at that, eh? Hey, Joe, what do you think about that one, eh, Bob? Went straight from that was about 8 foot high in the mangrove.
Yeah, that
JoJo went pretty aggressive here. This new rod and reel. It's one of the Salt Strong prototypes. You can't stare at it too long there, Joel. Coming to the Salt Strong store very soon.
I just had to hit right on that point. Might have been a ladyfish, but it was at least something. So points are crucial. During the summertime, points, especially with a little wind blowing on it like we have right here, very, very good spot. And the cool thing about that is you can just cast over it and reel across. So I just cast about 10 feet over the point, and now I'm about to reel it across where I'm just gonna go right next to the limbs.
That looks like a money spot there.
Oh,
yeah, so the Salt Strong rod is getting closer. It's definitely been, approved in terms of the final. Went through quite a few different iterations. This is one of them. This was one of the first ones, actually.
Yeah.
And the final one is pretty stinking awesome.
Yeah, it's just a rod that has just maximum feel. It is a high performance rod. It's made out of some of the high modulus material, which basically means that it's lightweight while still having power, power to handle big fish, and it is awesome. So it's a rod that's like sensitive enough where you can feel little pinfish taps, but strong enough to horse out some big redfish and snook away from structure.
But pH balance just for her. Strong enough for man, but pH balance just for her. Anyone know the name of that brand? Secret. Oh.
Yeah, that was another good example of that getting out of a mangrove right there.
And now I'm going to do a second one right below it. Oh, look at that. That deserves a strike.
So,
yeah, because a lot of people said, hey, you guys, when you get into freshwater, should do Fresh Strong. I was like, that sounds like a women's deodorant. Fresh Strong. Fresh and strong. That's why we own Fish Strong. Fresh Strong.
Yeah, when the bite's tough too, what we're doing now, a little strategy is just to maximize the amount of time that the lure is close to the mangroves, where we're getting up close to the mangroves and casting down the mangrove line. So that increases the odds of getting strikes. If we look into a big one, we're in trouble because now we have no leverage to pull them out. So it's kind of a risk-reward type thing. I'm starting to get a little bit desperate for a good strike. So
I'm desperate for attention. I'm gonna take my shirt off.
So kind of gave a little bit different angle.
I'm gonna see if I can get some trout out here, something.
Yeah,
it's always tougher too when we do these live. We can't.
You never know.
Stop the camera and like TV shows can and say, "Oh, we're having a bad day. Let's wear the same clothes tomorrow." No, I'm just kidding. We love all our TV show friends, but it is true. Been behind the scenes on a couple, and get 3 days to film a 20-minute show. Whole different ball game.
Yeah, this area, for whatever reason, everywhere when that red tide last year came through, like everywhere got hit pretty bad. But this area, for whatever reason, just hasn't recovered all the way. Like the other side of the bay has been way better. You've been watching a lot of videos in the skiff. I've been taking the small boat out a lot because it's on a trailer. And and I can more easily go over to the better areas of the
Does
bay.
that person have 2 people in the kayak?
Yeah, it looks like it.
In a single kayak?
But for whatever reason, they just have not. Like, this used to be like my favorite area.
Ace and Gary from SNL. Two grown men in a single man kayak. Nothing wrong with that. Ace and Gary skits, oh my gosh. You know what I'm talking about, you know. A little SNL. So funny. Might need a little more Dr. Juice on here, Luke. Jeez.
Not too much of that. Yeah, there's definitely some like silt in the water up there next to the trees.
Silt.
Hey, you see it's a little off color?
Is it good or bad?
I don't know.
Just go to Google on that, or go to our
Yeah, I mean,
trusty listeners. Is silt good near the mangrove line?
a lot of times the edge of the silt is where that's actually in that little pocket right there.
And it could be mullet went by and spooked up a bunch of old mud bottom.
And so if this doesn't work, the bailout plan just for solving a tough bite day like this is to go target trout. You know, we're gonna go to the outside edges of the grass flat. We'll probably have to do that in a separate video. But that's just the way to, like, as close to have guaranteed action as possible, where there's a ton of action, and not even having to have light bait. We're just gonna use these small little jigs, bounce them around the outside edges of the grass flats, close to the channel, and that's gonna be just a good way to get a bunch of fish quickly.
Yep.
So like when I take somebody new out fishing and this kind of stuff isn't working out, we'll go out there and immediately hook up and have fun.
And just being honest, it can be really tough at all time, or when the high tide is like this, when it's up at the very peak. You can see here, there's nowhere to even skip under the mangroves. And no matter how good of a skipper you are, there hasn't been any pockets open. It can be really, really tough. So I'm with Luke. Sometimes you just got to go out on the outside and hit the grass flats and wait for some more water movement. And there ain't nothing wrong with catching a bunch of trout. Heck, or even jacks.
Yeah, there'll be Spanish mackerel out there too.
Mackerel.
You can get a variety of fish. Even chances of tarpon and cobia getting in the mix too. They'll be cruising around.
All right, let's see here. This mangrove area looks good. Gotta be some fish up there. Wouldn't mind plucking off a red from that sucker.
Yeah, so this is like a textbook good spot here. We have this little island. It's surrounded by oysters. A little funnel point going through it. And it's kind of a situation. If we're not getting strikes here, then we're probably not going to get strikes anywhere around here. This should be where the fish are holding. I haven't had a single bite
I haven't either.
since we got out of that windy area.
Let's see. Come on, baby. That choke point looks so. Oh, I had a little hit. It might have been a little snap or something down there. It's just pop, 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 pop. There's something down there. I'm catching them, Luke. Don't take us too far away. Still got my tail, so it wasn't a puffer. Let's see if I can get him again. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I just bombed a cast over the point of this oyster bar, and this doesn't work. We're bailing.
In the podcast. Try a new spot. Yeah, that's what happens some days. I'm gonna do one, maybe they like the 2.0 better. Yeah, and so up next, we will end the podcast and then head over yonder. And one thing too, on Smart Fishing Spots, because we did this before, that was an area that we hadn't really fished, and just went to Smart Fishing Spots and looked up the oyster bed area filter, McGillicuddy, and found a couple nearby that we couldn't even see because it was high tide. Oh, had a little something hit right there. And remember that Luke ended up catching a ton of snook. Mm-hmm. So when in doubt, use smart fishing spots. Find hidden grassy areas, hidden oyster beds, and we've updated it recently here, added in a lot more states. Got Louisiana, Georgia now.
Yeah, and more spots are getting added daily.
Yep.
Gonna continually grow that.
Yep, so it's a combination. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Smart Fishing Spots is our app complimentary to our Insider members, and it's predictive software essentially. So it has everything you need from the weather and tides, wind, literally everything you could possibly imagine that a fisherman would need to pre-trip plan. But it also has predictive analysis using a combination of human intelligence, fishing pros, guides, and artificial intelligence. There's Ace and Gary.
I think it's Ace and Botany.
They're coming right up on us. And it is pretty freaking awesome. So it's not the end all be all. I don't think anything is. Nothing is just gonna make it where fishing is just too easy. But we are looking for shortcuts. And if you're looking for the ultimate shortcut just to help you be in the right spot at the right time, that Smart Fishing Spots is it. I've never seen anything like it. I would have paid a fortune to have that many years ago. And we are paying a fortune to have it now. It does cost a fortune, which is another reason we will be raising the prices on new members, to be clear, not existing members. So we treat our insiders like we wish every company treated us, is that once you're in, you're locked in for life as long as you're an active member. So just one more reason to join the Insider Club today. And for you current members, thank you guys so much. You're the foundation, the rock of this entire organization. So we appreciate you. So what next? Move on a new spot.
Let's go catch some trout. Yeah, we just went through a good looking area and not a single good fish. I didn't see a red fish wake off or anything. So I think they're just pushed way up under the trees right now. So we're gonna go hit the outside, catch some trout, and then maybe try somewhere else like this again. Let them push off the weeds.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would be the setup though. Like this bomber, it's good already in the summer. This is starting to turn out nicely, and they're in the fall too. So if you don't have these bombers, make sure to get them. They think skip amazingly well, and this is the ticket. So I have full confidence that the lures were right. We just weren't in the 90-10 zone.
I'll take the 2.0 myself.
Oh.
And this brand new exists, by the way. What do you think? You cast it?
Yeah, that is amazing.
Sick. It ain't cheap. I would not recommend it for everyone, but this is the best reel I've ever used. The Daiwa Exist. It's 6.3 ounces. It's got the air bail, and it's got some technology that makes the line go off faster. I mean, it's next level.
It's a nice reel.
It's next level. And you can sit in, and as soon as it hits Daiwa, because if you ever turned a reel to get service, it could take forever with these companies. With this one in particular, if Daiwa gets it, they stop what they're doing, which is maybe why your other ones take so long, and they start working on it then. And the last time I sent it in, they did it the same day they got it, and then the next day was overnighted back to me, and so I was, you had a fish on. I was basically out of a reel for 4 days, all in with shipping and everything. It's crazy. And they replaced the handle, any parts, they just replace for free, and they pay for the overnight back to you. You don't have to pay for that. So it's all that little small stuff. You're paying for that customer service. Oh, I did get a hit there. Maybe we can end here on a good note.
There might be a little trout out here.
Yeah, I'm getting some hit. Oh, there we go. Fish on. Oh, another ladyfish. What is going on? We're going to title this thing "How to Catch Tons of Ladyfish." Jeez,
he just about jumped over my line there.
Unbelievable. All right, now I'm gonna. Do you have a rag or anything? Not for ladyfish, for my tears. Wipe off my tears, guys. We appreciate you. We out. We'll talk to you in the next podcast. Thanks for sticking with us. And the beauty of these live on the water podcast is you get to see exactly what happens, even on tough days.
Anything happens.
Yeah,
At least
windy.
this time we didn't get stuck in the trees or anything.
Yeah, super high tide. You know, we got to deal with it sometimes. And I'm praying this thing comes off. But once again, I'm an amazing hooker. All right, guys, peace. We out. Whoop, whoop.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul. It was pain.